This is Scott Beck with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. It's thrilled to be joined by a brilliant person and leader. We're joined today by Bob Wise. Bob is going to talk to us. He's in the real estate world. He and his wife, Lyn, are in the real estate world. They've built a tremendously successful brokerage business, and they're going to talk to us today about sort of some of the coming changes, the trends they're watching in residential real estate, and a lot more. Bob, a pleasure to be with you today. Can you take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the brokerage business and your folks' business?
Thanks, Scott. And as you said, I'm Bob Wise, and I've spent most of my career in different roles in technology and communications and cloud services. And as you said, my wife Lyn has built a successful real estate agent over the past 7-8 years with our properties, and we decided to team up, create a company, build a team, and grow that business. So I'm managing partner of that group. We've added 3 people. We're looking to add more and continue to grow from there.
Well, congratulations. It's fantastic. And we're in an area, I saw a stat this morning, 31% of all real estate deals are all cash deals. There's so many changes going on in the real estate business, supply, demand imbalances, not enough houses to buy, it seems like, in certain areas. Tell us some of the trends that you're watching in the real estate residential business and the brokerage business.
Yeah, you're right, Scott. I mean, there's a lot of cash deals these days. Mortgage rates are up. They're currently in the low 7s, give or take. And so watching a lot of the economic trends that impact those rates, inflation, treasury bonds, treasury rates, things like that. The housing inventory definitely has an impact with the rates up. The housing inventory is low all across the country, including all of the suburbs in this area and the city, creating multiple offers and, typically over asking price in many of those transactions. And then, the last pretty major trend in this industry is been the recent lawsuits that have been brought against certain brokerages and the National Association of Realtors, which really shifts a commission structure that's been in practice for many decades. The major changes that are getting a lot of attention right now that technically go into effect around the July-August timeframe are that listing agents won't be able to publish commission rates on the listing service to tell agents what commissions they'll pay them. So there's going to have to be another way that communication gets made. And then finally, the buyer's agents are going to need a signed buyer-broker agreement with their buyers before showing them a property, which establishes that commission, and the buyer agrees to pay the difference of that commission, if any, that the agent doesn't get from the seller.
Thank you. And is that scary for buyers? Will that make them more hesitant to work with a broker, or will over a period of time people sort of get used to this new structure and it'll be sort of business as usual, and every once in a while a buyer will feel like they got taken advantage by a broker and that will cause some reputational harm to that broker? How do you sort of see this playing out? Because forever it's been 5-6%, the buyer and seller's agents sort of split it, everybody sort of knows it, the world sort of got comfortable with it. Now you've got this lawsuit, this antitrust settlement. How will this play out? Will that just be clearer in a year or so, or what do you think? Any predictions?
Yeah, I mean, I think like anything that changes, it's definitely going to be a new way of doing business, not only for the agents, but for the buyers. I mean, in some markets, buyers sign buyer agreements today, not every market. So it's going to become a thing for all of them to do, and it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. So at the end of the day, what's not going to change is that if you're going to be successful in this industry, you've got to focus on clients and take care of clients and continue to provide value to those clients. So, the good news is that with change comes opportunity. And so you have to adapt and provide that to those buyers. And that, you have to make sure that you're continuing to build trust in all the negotiations and use your network to get them into houses before other buyers, continuing to provide great service to them, and continuing to do all those 100+ things that they don't even see, because at the end of the day, it's the value that you bring to them, regardless if you're signing an agreement or not.
Right. It reminds me a little bit of in the legal business. If I went back 15 years ago, we generally didn't even sign engagement letters with clients. We just sort of starting to do business with them. We billed them monthly. Either they were pleased with it, they weren't pleased with it, and you sort of ultimately built a long-term relationship. Then probably 15, 20 years ago, it became the standard to have an engagement letter just to try and avoid disputes, avoid complications, confusion over what the relationship looked like. And it seems like traditionally, what you're saying is in some markets, people traditionally had buyer's agreements signed, and others they didn't. This will cause a different level of seriousness in that first engagement with a broker, because now you're with that broker for either a limited scope or a full scope for your search for X amount of time and so forth. And we'll see if it also leads to price negotiations between buyers and brokers or not, or not, whether it ends up leading to the National Association of Realtors, in contrast to the Department of Justice thought maybe this will lower buyer commissions, but maybe not, quite frankly. Any sense of that, or is it more just formalizing what was traditionally a relationship that was a little more informal?
I think a couple of things. I think it is about formalizing relationships that maybe weren't as formal. You're 100% right. I mean, we always felt if you provide great service and value and success to those clients will remain with you and continue to refer business to you. So yes, it is about, formalizing that relationship. But yeah, like everything else, I mean, all sellers are going to be different and all buyers are going to be different. So it's going to create different kinds of relationships and different kind of financial structures in each one of those deals. Some sellers are going to be very willing to pay what has been the normal commission. Other sellers may not. So there is going to be a negotiation and a transaction with those buyers that in the beginning they're not very comfortable with because they haven't been doing it. But over time, it's going to normalize, and that's going to be the way the industry operates.
Thank you. So you folks have done a tremendous job starting to build a great team around your brokerage work. What are you most focused on and excited about this year? What's the big focus for the rest of 2024?
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of the business that my wife has built and the reputation she has, with other agents in this business and clients. So continuing to build off of that reputation with our clients and with other agents. So we're transitioning into this team and growing this team. We're going to continue to look at agents in this market and continuing to add customers and service clients and get them into houses and opportunities that they would not have necessarily been able to get in on their own. We're continuing to educate clients. I do a weekly blog and video called Be Wise About the Market. I've gotten a lot of great feedback on that, and clients and people who just follow me and Lyn have been very complimentary about what we've been able to provide them and the information, the data, and just understanding what is going on in the market today. So we're going to continue to build off of that series as well.
Thank you very, very much. And any advice to whether emerging leaders, to other leaders, what advice do you give to an emerging business person, emerging leaders? Any thoughts there, Bob?
Yeah, I mean, like what's happened in real estate and in other industries, Scott, as you know, changes and shifts happen. And so you have to be focused on the clients. At the end of the day, no matter what happens, it's the service you provide them and what you can do for them that makes the difference no matter what change happens. You have to stay nimble, you have to stay flexible, and you really have to stay educated on the changes and the impacts to those clients so you can really be, react to those shifts and make sure their expectations are met.
Bob, let me ask you one other question. I know that Lyn and you have made a big effort to build around you and build the great teams around you. Can you take a moment and talk about the excitement of starting to build a team versus sort of a solo brokerage and so forth? Talk about that if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, we've added 3 very intelligent and personable women who live in different markets. A couple of them are just starting out, but have had careers in the past and large networks. Another has been an agent for several years with another firm, and she's got a lot of experience and has had some some very successful years. So we're very excited about all three of them, and all three of them are continuing to grow their business very successfully right now.
Bob Wise, again, I want to thank you for joining us today on the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Where can people find more about your team and the Lyn Wise team and so forth?
Thank you, Scott. And you can find us on our website at lynwisegroup.com. That's LYNWISEGROUP.com. And there you can get our new buyer's guide. That's put your information in, and we'll send you that free of charge. You can also follow Lyn Wise or Bob Wise on LinkedIn, or our group on Instagram at Lyn Wise Group. Thank you.
Bob, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great to watch Lyn and team build this business over the last several years. It's really been a story of remarkable strength and resilience and energy. Really a fantastic service she does for clients. Bob, congratulations on the success of Lyn and your team and the evolving, growing team of great realtors with you folks. Thank you for joining us today on the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.